I love getting away from the noise, going and finding escapism. And it was there then at that point that I realised it was escapism that I was searching for, longing for, and kind of wanted to build a category. I put a brand in it. My name is Richard Sutcliffe. I am the co-founder of Passenger, and I am unemployable. We were leveraged to the hilt. We borrowed, we had credit cards. We were all risk. If Passenger wasn't to have been a success, we'd be bankrupt. We'd be financially in trouble. A founder's job, I believe, is consistency. It's to make sure that you're always pulling people back to the vision. We try to drive emotion first, and then we build that connection, and then we'll build product and community through that. Founder has an idea, a vision. It's a team that can execute. So it's really important that founders just don't go around and say, I created this, I did this. You didn't.
Welcome back to the Phoebe Pubcast, powered by ITV Ignite, and we are at ITV HQ in the heart of London in our lovely pub. So we get to interview some of the fastest growing companies in the UK as part of our Phoebe Growth 100, and it is absolutely brilliant to have in the studio today Richard Sutcliffe, founder of Passenger. How you doing, mate?
Good, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, really good. Listen, you've been in our list 4 years running, which is just brilliant, and as a result, which is really nice for me, I feel like I've really got to know you, having had so many opportunities to hang out with you. Did you start this business ever thinking that you would be basically hitting this kind of growth?
Not a chance.
So it's taken you by surprise.
Oh, God, yeah.
I love it when people say that, because you always just think founders are so, the belief is like, I was always set to do it. It's lovely to hear that realness, to be honest.
I think anybody who says they're going to achieve this is full of shit. I certainly didn't. So I think it's a team effort. That's the thing that you have to really acknowledge is, and I believe this from my heart, as a founder has an idea, a vision, it's a team that can execute. So it's really important that founders just don't go around and say, I created this, I did this. You didn't.
Yeah.
And it's an absolute team effort.
Listen, before we get to the absolutely incredible growth and just what's gone into making the brand what it is today, where did it all start? Where did this all start with you? Take us back to the beginning. So
the snapshot, and the easiest way to describe this was back in probably 28, 29. I trekked the Arctic, just wanted to sort of get lost. I was lost and I was looking for something, and at that point in time when I was in the Arctic... You're not talking figuratively, you're actually in the Arctic. Yeah, I was in the Arctic Circle.
I was thinking...
So I trekked that for 8 days, just went, we went away, and at that point in time I realised it was escapism that I was searching for, and I understood what escapism was. Roll forward to 2012 when we launched Passenger. At that point, I wanted to create something with my wife that we were passionate about, something we wanted to give a shit about and wake up for.
Shout out to Alexa.
The boss, Alexa, the boss, yeah. I mean... We can talk about her later, but yeah, she's no longer involved in the day-to-day of the business because we had a child born with some difficulties, so she had to step away and focus on that. That's been really hard for her. But sort of 2012, we decided that, we wanted to do something we're passionate around, wake up and give a shit. So the brand was born. But it was really born, and the name and everything came together on a trip in Canada, and that's kind of cemented it. Can I just ask, if you don't mind me, but what is it that had happened that made you do something as extreme as wanting to go to the Arctic to do a bit of soul searching? It wasn't necessarily I was doing some soul searching. It was something I wanted to do. I love getting away from the noise, going and finding escapism. And it was there then at that point that I realised it was escapism that I was searching for, longing for, and kind of wanted to build a category. I put a brand in it. It took a while to get people to understand what escapism really meant, meaningful escapism, how it was positive, not negative. And then kind of Passenger was born through that. And that's kind of the crux of what we wanted to do. With the tag Made to Roam. With Made to Roam, yeah. Which to you basically means? To roam. To I think if you look at it, to get off grid, to wander. So that's what escapism is. So if you look at it, it's the need to get off grid, to wander, in search of meaningful experiences. So getting back to the beginning when I was saying, has it taken you by surprise? It must be amazing if you think back to when you were on that trip to where you are now, because we came to the Phoebe Cribs a couple of weeks back, which was absolutely love that. It was randomly great fun, wasn't it? Yeah, it was brilliant. It was so good. Yeah. But what an office, what a vibe, just seeing all the products everywhere as well, and just to be able to, what I love being able to see just how strong the brand was and how it felt like it's got such a clear feel to it, you know exactly what it stands for. That's what I'm basically trying to say. Yeah, and I think it's important that when you're building a brand, and for me, I personally believe, and it's part of our DNA, is we try to drive emotion first, and then we build that connection, and then we'll build product and community through that. And that allows us to be authentic and really drive a brand. Right, if you don't mind me asking then, because this is really interesting, if you talk about
creating a connection with your consumer.
Yep.
Brands know they have to do that.
Yeah.
Few brands really manage it.
Yeah.
What do you think you've been able to do that's been able to help you really get that connection with your consumers?
We've built an emotional connection. So we focus on the emotion and inspiration, and we try to be authentic and honest. And I think through that, which everybody wants to do, we've achieved what many try and do. It's not like we've got a silver bullet, or it's not like we know anything anyone else doesn't. We were just able to execute it by being authentic. I think that's it.
Richard, let's just dig a little deeper into that, because the word authentic is so important. But how do you actually define authentic? What does that really mean?
I think it's really hard to define, because you're trying to be authentic, and you can't define it because you just have to be authentic. It's really hard to quantify, and the bullshit radar goes up pretty quickly with
now
consumers.
You're talking right. So it's cutting out the bullshit.
Yeah.
Being completely real.
Yeah.
Don't have to worry about all the, it's not all about the frills. It's about the really real stuff, the nitty gritty.
Yep.
The stuff behind the scenes that maybe,
And I think that is the key to it, is authenticity. And that's what we have in spades. Not because if you try too hard, you're not authentic.
Yeah.
We've tried to build it up from the core values to the purpose, the messaging, the DNA, the culture within the team. And we always work at it. And I don't think we always get it right, because nobody gets it right. But I'd like to think we're getting more right than we are wrong, but that's why it's really hard to quantify and define it, because it's a feeling. It's not something that can be faked, because otherwise it's not authentic. You just do it, and you be authentic, and you continue to be consistently authentic.
Yeah. I know one of the reasons why I've enjoyed hanging out with you over the years is on exactly that subjective authenticity. I always feel like I'm talking to you. As you just said earlier, there's no bullshit. And I love that, because it means that's when you really...
Because I'm too stupid to not be anyone else.
No, not at all. I'm the same. It's just I hope I'm the same. But I think that's how you build deep connections, if you can just be completely real to yourself.
Yeah.
If you think how the business has grown from you and Alexa to then, I don't know, 3 or 4, 5, 6, how many people you got now? It's a lot of people, isn't it?
About 90, I think, at the moment.
Team.
About 90, yeah.
Yeah, a big team. How have you managed to make sure that you embed that and keep everything that you hold so dear to your heart with the brand, of making sure that you keep that as it should be? And,
I think there's two sides to that. So the first side was I haven't done it alone.
Okay.
You have to have other people that come in that are better than you, know more than you, more experienced, that you learn from. They help guide you. So I think that's the first aspect. But I think number two is always about learning, and try to make sure you're always evolving with it, and to try and be better, to understand as you grow. You just have to keep that consistency, but always be open to learning and growing in a simple way. That's how I would say it, because it's hard and it needs consistency, and you won't always get it wrong, and you'll ebb and flow, but it's your job as a founder or somebody who is trying to sort of keep things consistently on your mission and your values, that you always pull it back to there, but you have to create the right forum and environment for that to be a success, and that's hard in itself.
Yeah. At what point did you decide that you weren't going to be the CEO? Because you've gone from being the founder to bringing in an amazing senior leadership team.
Yeah.
What was the point that led you to that, and how's the experience been of that?
So let's start at the point there to say, so I think I realised that I wasn't the right person to take it all as far as it could go. I realised at that point, holy shit, what we've built has real legs and traction, and it was really starting to resonate, built community, lots of people getting excited. So there's two aspects of that. One, I was quite tired, and because you'd been sort of going at it for sort of 7, 8 years, and we'd had our daughter born, who was in hospital for 100 days. So there was lots of complications and issues that we had to deal with personally, which took its toll on us.
So you had that whilst you were stuck. Wow.
Yeah. So that happened at the same time when it really was starting to see that there's real potential here. It was taking off. It hadn't taken off because it needed some expertise and some guidance. So at that point in time, I realized, number one, I don't want to be a CEO. Number two, I'm tired. Number three, if this is going to go where it needs to go, and I'm going to give it the opportunities to succeed, then I need to bring in the right people. So that's what I did.
Do you think your feeling would have been different had you have not had an ill child?
No, because I think I'm quite self-aware. I think that's one of my strengths, is that I understand. I wanted to be the best I can be, a better version of myself. So I could only do that by learning from other people, bringing them in. But I also feel it would be unfair to myself, my wife, all the effort that the team who are still with us today put in at the beginning. If I didn't sort of get out of my own way to bring in the right people to help drive the commercial lanes as such. I wanted to be the brand protector, really passionate about brand and culture, really try and lead it and inspire it and help it grow. But I wanted expertise that have been around and can help drive those commercial lanes.
Yeah, you tend to find, don't you, with founders, you have the camp that do that and bring in amazing CEOs and what have you in around the team. And you have those that, I'd say probably a rarer breed, that actually stay the whole distance, and it's almost like they were born to be a CEO as well.
Yeah.
But what have you found? Because I bet it hasn't always been plain sailing doing that. What have you found have been some of the kind of the biggest, and maybe it has, but if it hasn't, what have been some of the biggest lessons you've learned that you would advise when that happens to make it as best a process as it can be when you're essentially giving the keys 100%. You're giving some of the keys away.
Yeah, it's really hard. And I think what you have to do is you have to set your expectations, what it is you're looking for, make sure there's an alignment, because if there's misalignment early on, it's going to be really difficult. So it's trying to get things as aligned as you possibly can to create that trust, that open forum and that strong relationship as best you can early. Then when it's happening and you're in there's still things that are going to go wrong. And the idea is you really have to work hard to create that environment and bring the right people in, that you can just have this respect and communication to find a balance between the commercial lanes and the creative lanes. And they need to flex at certain times, but it's really hard and you just really do have to work at it. But you have to go in with your eyes open, knowing that what it's going to be like.
When you say work at it, what do you mean? Do you mean the communication, like making?
Absolutely,
Okay.
and bringing the right forum in and making sure that you're all in sync, everyone's aligned. It will go out of alignment, and you'll find, from my perspective, you'll always find that people will come in, and it's just the nature of humanity is that we want to come in, we want to make change, and we want to put our own stamp on something.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of it. What you have to try and do is to try and allow that, but also stop that, because you want to. People feel part of it, but otherwise you could be going in loads of different directions, meandering all the way along. And a founder's job, I believe, is consistency. It's to make sure that you're always pulling people back to the vision and the mission and what you're trying to achieve, and just make sure everyone's got alignment, everybody's inspired. But then the commercial lanes don't drive that too hard. The brand lanes don't drive that too hard. You're not in charge of brand, you're not in charge of commercial. You're there to glue it all together.
I bet that's hard, Richard, because you do see that I think some founders are very comfortable with the fact that they've got people that come in at that level, and it's almost like they're quite happy to take quite a bit of a back seat. I can imagine with you knowing, and I'm saying this as having known you for 4 years now, but that's quite hard for you because look, you're wearing the brand, you are the brand. It's part of your DNA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Passenger is an extension of my personality. There's no doubt about it, but it's bigger than that. So you can't have that view anymore. So you have to let things, trying to allow things to go, but try and make sure you manage how deep those mistakes could go, because you need to make it mistakes, because then you can bring it back in and sort of, it's trying to guide it. It's hard. Sometimes you go too far out and then you're like, okay, I should have been a bit further in to allow that. Sometimes you're too far in and stopping decisions and people growing themselves. So it's really, really hard. And somebody taught me something once, and I still live by this, and this is how I look at it now, is it's noses in, fingers out.
Okay.
And that's that, and it was actually Steve Hewitt that taught me that. Was
it?
And it's brilliant because
Big up Steve Hewitt.
Thank you. That big up Steve.
Big Steve.
But it's
man.
That is all. But so if you look at it like that, it allows me to be upfront with the team to say, this is how I would like to operate with you. Like, I'm not going to do your job for you because you're the expert doing that job. I'm going to be noses in, fingers out. If I go too far in, politely tell me that's fingers in, not noses in. But also, don't be annoyed and frustrated if I stick my nose in, because it's my prerogative to stick my nose in. Yeah. But you're trying to add value, so it's not easy. And
I like that though. Just you're qualifying. Don't be annoyed, because I want to.
Yeah,
I want to get stuck in sometimes.
And pretty much I have a good relationship with everybody and trying to make sure that they're the best versions that they can be. But it's all aligned, and you never get it always right. And we're always learning, and it continuously has to evolve like that. But that is, if you can sort of set up your camp in the beginning as what your expectations are, what you're trying to achieve, what we're going after, you can just try and, as things come in, you can bat them back or pull them in, just tack path a little bit. But that's what you're trying to do, is to create consistency. Yeah.
How do you find the whole investment process? Because obviously the business got to a size and then it needed investment to then take it to the level that it's at now. What's the current turnover? I should know.
Turnover, so we'll be getting close to 100 million.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes, yeah.
That is some business, mate. 100 million turnover. I love that. But Yeah, what was it like when all of a sudden you had, you're bringing investors in? Because that is a new dynamic.
Yep.
It can be a challenging dynamic.
Yep.
What's that like?
Good and bad. It's amazing, but scary at the same time, and that's how it should be.
Okay, why good?
Because you're able to share the burden with people who've got more experience than you, and most founders will know often. It's nice to not be looking in the bank on a Monday morning and think, can I keep the lights on this week? Yeah. Because most founders will probably relate to that. It's been a certain point of time where you're like, shit, like, that's just part of the game. That's part of the hustle.
We can all relate to that, can't we? Yeah.
So it's nice to share that burden, but what you need to always do is keep that hustle, that founder mentality. Yeah. That can never lose you, because that's really when things just start to drift. And if you're getting like that, maybe that there's times as a founder you're like, okay, maybe the passion's not there anymore.
Are you as much of a hustler now as you were back then?
Yeah, and I try and make sure that the team always remember that hustle and feel that, and that you share that, because that's really important. So that's a good aspect. But then the negative aspects are that, like, okay, there's more pressure, there's more people, there's more direction, different opinions. So you have
There's an expectation.
Expectations, 100%. So when you're setting that up in the early days, that's why you need to set out your expectations. You want to set, this is our journey, this is what we're looking to achieve. Does that suit you? Not the other way around. Because if you go in there thinking, I just want to take some money, I want to de-risk or whatever, and you're not worried about the consequences that will have, it will become a problem. It's just, and it's brilliant, but you just need to go into it with your eyes wide open, have honest conversations, and make sure you're all aligned.
Do you think you found, as you've got used to having significant investors in the business, that you've been able to get your opinion across stronger and be heard, maybe than I'm asking because sometimes people say it's actually quite difficult when all of a sudden you're around the boardroom, new people there, and you can feel yourself being quite quiet and you want to shout out. Yeah. Is that something you've learned to get better at?
Yeah, so let's just look at it and give you some examples. So number one, I have imposter syndrome. When I sit at the board table and I look at the level of experience that I have in there, I have imposter syndrome because...
Why?
I'm just looking at him. You've got some amazing people on that board. But what's good is they're also respectful to say that, like, well, Rich, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. And also, what's the guidance? What's the vision? And that's the bit that I feel I've done it to myself, but I feel I've had to earn my right to be able to be respected and have that opinion.
Really?
Yeah, but it's good. It's
so
a challenge.
As a founder of the business, you still feel you got
absolutely, and but I actually think that's quite a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I do.
I still have to work on it. It's like if I want to sit at the table and have an impact to all the way up to the top of the board, to the most junior person in the business, I have to be humble, respectful. I have to keep learning. I have to adapt, and I just have to be better than I was yesterday. And I think that's a problem to look at it like that. But it's finding that balance where people look at a founder for direction, for guidance, inspiration, leadership. But at the same time, is they don't just take their word for it and tickle their ego. We've got to find the right balance, because we want everybody to be accountable. We want to keep everybody on the hot plate, turn out what we need to, but yet be respectful. So it's not any one particular thing. You just have to ebb and flow with it and earn your place, and just don't be a dick.
I mean, that's a great thing to do just generally. Yeah, don't be a dick. I think if you look at, you said something earlier, the brand is me.
Yeah.
It's a massive part of you.
I'd say yes.
I don't think you actually said that. It's the way you said it was.
The brand is
an extension of me.
Or is an extension of my personality. But it's also not just about me anymore. And that's really important, is that's probably the biggest part that founders really struggle with. And I would probably say I struggled with it. When you do a bit of soul searching, you kind of look at your ego. And I think it's really important that you can check your ego.
Have you got an ego?
Yeah, everyone's got an ego, but it's under control.
Yeah,
I do have to work at it. Like, there's a chip on my shoulder every single day that I have to just make sure that I'm in control of it, and it's not making me make the decisions because my ego's there. And from doing that allows me to be a better version of myself, a better founder, more inspirational. We get the business is in a better position from it because it allows the best people to come in and have a voice at the table and challenge it. So it's really important that you understand, as you may have been the founder and you were the person that made it all happen, but you're no longer just the only person in this business anymore. And if you were the only person, it wouldn't be what it is today.
Yeah. Rich, I'm going to ask you a personal question. Mm-hmm. I don't mean it to be cringy in any way. As part of the investment process, you're able to, take some money off the table.
Yeah.
How does it feel to all of a sudden wake up without anything around your neck and all of a sudden being actually, wow, my bank balance is pretty good right now. Yeah. How does that feel? How does that all of a sudden change how you feel? And I ask, as someone who dreams of that day, and I'm sure many people dream of that day, how does it feel?
I mean, it's an amazing achievement, but it's not it's trying to find that balance between you're really happy and you've done something that's life-changing. It means that with my daughter's medical condition, we're able to pay for that. It means that the shackles are off a bit now, because that pressure and stress of being a founder and trying to make sure that is it going to turn into anything? I mean, we had everything part of the house on the line. That was
really?
Yeah, everything. So that was the agreement with the wife, with Alex, my wife, was just like, we won't put the house on the line. But we had everything. We were leveraged to the hilt. We borrowed. We had credit cards. We were all risk. So if Passenger wasn't to have been a success, we'd still have a house, but we'd be bankrupt. We'd be financially in trouble. We'd bootstrapped for 5 years, where myself and Alex and my wife, we were both working whilst managing this. I'm getting up at 5 a.m, trying to...
You're an electrician?
You was an electrician, yeah. So so the hustle was real, and that's why you never want to lose it. So it's brilliant on one aspect there, and this is what holds me accountable, is I want to be able to look in the mirror every single day and say, I'm proud of what I see in the mirror. So I can walk away, or whenever my time's done and somebody says, Rich, thank you very much, you've done enough now, but I don't think you're adding any more value, I can walk away at that time with my head held high, and I gave everything I possibly could, and I'm proud who I am and see in the mirror.
I mean, linked to that is there will be a day, I'm sure, let's not be naive about it, if you've got investors and 100 billion turnover business, when there'll be expectation that you pass the baby on to someone else. How's that going to feel? Because I've heard that there is, for some founders, many founders, that's a period of quite a lot of emotion. And
100%.
Yeah, how do you feel about that day when it comes?
I'm going to put it in context. So I'm 43 years old.
Looking good, brother.
And it's 43 today, actually.
So happy birthday!
But what we realised yesterday is, so I've been doing Passenger since 2012, so 13 years. So we're not far off a third of my life solely on Passenger. So that just gives it some context. So 1/3 of your life, that's going to hurt. No doubt about it. Yeah. Like, I've given blood, sweat and tears to it, and I still continue to do it today in the right capacity. So if there's a time, it won't be my choosing. It will be the choosing from wherever we go now. So whenever, if ever it happens, I need to be ready. I don't know how you get ready for something like that.
Have you started speaking to people that have, how they get ready?
No, because I'm not ready to start thinking about that, if I'm totally honest. I'm still all in, 100% in. I don't do things in halves. I'm either all in or nothing. Yeah. So I'm going to continue to do that, and we'll focus on that if and when it needs to happen down the line. But I'm still amped, and I'm still trying to make sure that we stay positive, we stay humble, we stay true to the vision and the mission and what we're trying to achieve, and help inspire the others around to make it a better place.
Yeah. So you said you're only 43. As I said, you're looking great at 43, Rich. So, clearly very young, a lot of energy to give. That day, when it does come, what would you want to do with founders? What would you, if you do want to do stuff with founders after, I take it you do, and I know you do, because that's a conversation we've had before. Yeah. But what sort of things do you think you've learned from this experience that you really want to take to other businesses and other founders that you get to work with? I mean,
there's too much, and I'm still learning every single day. So I would say that for me, and this is the message that I would say, is every day is a school day. And that's the motto I live by. So what I've learned is incredible, but what I still have to learn is even more incredible. But I feel I've been very fortunate to work with some amazing people who have taught me so much. I feel it's my duty to be able to offer that back. I love sharing the knowledge, and if there's some nuggets in there for people, some wisdom in there that can help guide them through it, that's something I will probably look to do down the line. I don't know when and in what capacity, but it's just, even if it's just informal, it's really nice to do.
If it was as an investor, in your experience as a founder, would it be hands off or hands on, or both?
It will be noses in, fingers out.
I was like, I knew the answer.
Yeah. But then sometimes...
Which I think is a brilliant way of looking at it.
But sometimes if I knew what I wanted back then, looking at my first investors, I wouldn't have wanted noses in, fingers out. I would have wanted fingers in. Really? But I would have wanted fingers in an area to help complement me. So it's trying to figure out that right balance.
Because it's having the humility like you have of really asking where it is people want the help with,
100%. Like, for instance, I'm a brand and product guy through and through. Brand first, product second, commercial lanes third. I like to think my brain's quite centered now because left and right there, sort of managing. I like to think I use both to understand and find a sweet spot.
Yeah.
But back then I was definitely a brand and product guy. I was a left brain guy. I think it's left is the
left,
creative. Yeah. But I was definitely that. So I was always looking for the creative lanes. So therefore that's where I know I can sort of help and add value.
Yeah.
Brand, product, culture, they're my three passions, and we can build a commercial model around them.
You know, with brand, I think so much stuff as a founder is done through the gut.
Yep.
And I guess there is still, with you, a lot of decision making, a lot of decisions that are made because of your gut, right?
Yeah.
How do you, when you said you're bringing in better people that, you know, have huge experience, etc. How do you win the balance? How do you win the argument sometimes, or maybe not even an argument? How do you win the battle? And again, it might not even be a battle, but how do you get your point of view across if you just know your gut is right?
And there are ways of doing it. The first thing is you have to create that forum, that environment to be able to get to the right decision.
Yeah.
That's hard, and that's something you have to really work on. That's when you have to leave your egos at the door. So that's the first aspect, I would say. The second aspect is trying to get your point across in the right environment. But if people are really against it, sometimes you really do have to let them have that decision, but you have to make them accountable for it in a good way, because you don't want to stop them trying. You don't want to, because you really want to foster and encourage that. So you're like, is this the decision when you're hanging out on, is what we say a passenger. And if they're like, brilliant, okay, well, we're not going to come down if it's wrong, but we want you to know that like you've wanted this, so you're going to have it. And somebody taught me this as well, is sometimes you need to lose a battle to win the war.
Okay.
Which is really good. Sometimes you know that it's easier to let a decision slide.
Yeah.
Because you're still trying to make sure that you're ahead. It is really hard, and you won't always get it right. There's no doubt about it, but creating the right environment for it, that you can have an open conversation and you can get your point across. That's really a founder's job. That is the hardest bit, and that's what a founder has to do, is to bring everyone together to make the right decisions, but not control the decisions.
What about when you know your gut is so right that you can't allow any deviation from that gut?
You really have to get your point across in the right way, and you have to get right
so
environment.
System override, is it?
Yeah, because
in the right way.
Yeah, because what would happen is, so as an example, let's just say that you have an idea and you want to take the brand in a different direction, and it's a one-way door. So once you've made that decision, there's no coming back from it. If it's a two-way door, you can make that decision, walk through and walk back. That's fine. We can test and learn.
Yeah,
that's okay. But we're talking about a big decision here that, like, I don't know, we want to do a collaboration with somebody that you just know isn't right, but they really want to do it. And maybe it's because there's a commercial gain from it. That's a short-term fix. It's going to hurt you. It's going to damage you long-term. What you've really got to do, without having overruling, pulling the rank card, because that's what you don't want to do, is you really have to get them to understand it, and you really have to take them on the journey, and you really got to work on it to create so that almost you're giving them the tools to make the decision, and they feel like they've made the decision. And you've made the decision together, but really you've planted the seed and you've taken them on that journey. That's the outcome you're trying to achieve.
I bet when you hit the level of which Passenger has, in terms of as a company, the size, the brand, reach, etc., I bet you've had some pretty exciting collaboration opportunities that have come along.
Absolutely.
It seems like you're talking out of experience.
Oh, God,
there.
yeah.
And some of them you just know, we can't do this.
Yeah, there was a global beer brand the other day. It's actually today it came through. Reached out asking if we'd collaborate them globally. It's just like, great opportunity, it's not right.
You just know it's not right.
No, we've had various football clubs asking, would we collaborate with them? We're just like, it's flattering, it's brilliant, it's just not right. The hardest thing in business is to say no. That's what you've got to really get good at, because there's opportunities going to come left, right and centre, and then you'll be a yo-yo, you'll be like a magpie looking at shiny objects all the time. You really have to stay focused and just know what you're trying to achieve and be rigid, say no.
Wow, that's got to come down to a lot of gut then.
A lot of gut, but then if you've done your job correctly, everybody is trusting their gut, because you've built the culture, you've built the environment, you've explained the mission. It always comes down to, if somebody's not doing it right, chances are it's not them, it's you. You haven't set your expectations out clearly. You haven't done your job, which we talked about before. And that's what it comes down to, is you have to bring everybody on that journey with you, allow them to challenge it, but make sure you're seeing clearly together.
We talk a lot, Phoebe, about fuck-ups.
Yep.
What have been some of the biggest fuck-ups you've ever done? Have you ever properly, royally fucked up, Rich?
I was trying to, and I mean this really delicately when I say it. I don't think I've fucked up so many things. There's loads of fuck-ups, everybody does, but I don't think I've made huge royally fucked up things. I can think of one, but the reason I haven't is...
Tell us.
Absolutely, and we'll think about that. But I think the reason I've managed to avoid some catastrophes, and I can say how some bullets were dodged really quickly, was because I'm bringing in other people better than me. I like to call it Operation Satnav, because then it's just like bringing people in that are further ahead of me, know the journey better, to ask what they would do. I'm trying to do everything I possibly can to avoid mistakes. But some of the mistakes I've made, as an example, I thought I could be better than the market and make a waterproof jacket, a bit more cost effective. And it was classified as waterproof, but it really wasn't very good. So therefore I thought I was smarter than the game, and we wasted a load of money. Happens.
How much money?
Because the mistakes are smaller. So this, again, it's all about, if I'd have made that mistake today, it'd be 100 times more expensive. But the idea is, if you're going to make mistakes, make them quick, and make them when they're going to be smaller, so you can learn from them. And mistakes are good. It's just making sure mistakes don't become fuck ups. So make them small, make them early, get them out of the way and learn from it.
Okay, that's nice. I like it. Make them small, make them early.
Yeah.
That's how you avoid the fuck up.
Yeah, avoid the fuck up by making mistakes. So I think that's because a mistake isn't a fuck up. A mistake is two different things.
We've never got into the nitty gritty of the fuck up. I love it, Rich. You've given me some good clarity there, mate. Listen, final question.
Yeah.
100 million turnover. Still more left in the tank to go. What excites you most about where this brand could go the next year, two, whatever? 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever left we've got left.
So actually, do you know what? The growth and the amount we turn over doesn't really get me excited.
Doesn't.
I'm not even that bothered about it. If you were...
Are you absolutely not shitting me? Because that is nuts.
I'm bothered about
that turnover is just like, whoa!
It just doesn't excite me. What excites me is think about what we've created and the legacy and the longevity, and actually something that we're proud of, and not just me, the team. The brand, the product, everything, the community, the fact that we've created something that so many more people are passionate about, that we don't have to do any of the shouting for it. They do it for us. They're proud to wear it. They're proud to represent. They're spending hard-earned dollars on stuff they really don't need, because that's the reality of the world we live in. That's what makes me proud.
Yeah. And do you know what? I know this is so real and heartfelt, because I take it back when we did our cribs. I take my memories back to, you got the Gosney oven.
Yeah.
Beautiful piece of manufacturing, that, isn't it? But you got the Gosney pizza oven, and you're putting your pizzas in, and there's so much satisfaction you got from basically being with the team and feeding them lovely pizzas in the ovens, isn't it?
Yeah. I keep them inspired.
I could tell you loved it though, didn't you?
Yeah, that's it. Generally, it's very simple. Like, I look at it from an inputs-outputs perspective. So I look at the outputs of success and commercialism and growth, profitability, and a good business model as the inputs of brand, people, culture, product. That is what gets me excited, is the inputs. Listen,
I've known you for 4 years, as I've said. I feel like I've known you a lot longer. It's been a joy getting to know you, because you really are such a real, authentic person. And it's just been fab having you in our G100 for so long. Thanks for being a wicked part of our gang. And, I can't wait to see where the brand goes, but can't wait to do more with you in the future, mate. So
I'm going nowhere, don't worry about that.
Massive congratulations and respect for everything you've done.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're in the founders lock-in, and it's last round.
I mean, this is a founders lock-in. I love that.
Yeah. Rich, I'm going to ask you 6 questions.
Yep.
Don't overthink it, shoot from the heart. What do you wish you knew before you started your business?
I wish I knew how to control my ego when I was younger.
Really? Mm-hmm. So you felt maybe your ego was a bit out of control?
No, I don't think anyone's. I just think it wouldn't allow me to make the best decisions.
Got it. Okay, I like it. How would you describe the life of an entrepreneur?
I fucking hate that word, entrepreneur.
Okay.
Really hate it.
Why? You are an entrepreneur, Richard.
Yeah, but because it makes me feel that it's just, the word just says it's about you, and it's about commercials, and that's the output of successful inputs.
That's how that word makes you feel, is it?
Yeah, I don't. So.
Okay, so how would we describe it then? How would you find the life of a hustler?
A successful founder would be.
All right, I like that.
Lonely at times.
Yeah.
Yeah, very lonely, because in the early days you have all that risk on you, and you can't really share that because you don't want to.
Yeah.
Because it's just not fair, and there's people looking up to you. And then as it's sort of going, and you're employing people in your business better than you, so what you're in essence you're doing is making yourself redundant in your own business. Again, that's quite lonely, and somebody told me that's a sign of success, is that when you make yourself redundant in your own business.
So you know what it's like when you've got your mates who are like, lawyers, whatever, they've got good stable jobs.
Yeah.
And haven't got the risk that you've got, I think that can make it feel really lonely, even lonelier.
100%. And actually, for 7 years, we pretty much didn't see friends. We saw family, but we were working 24/7, mornings, weekends. We'd obviously go away in the van when we could to work because it was just getting away. But it was all work, risk, and it did take its toll.
Yeah, I bet.
So yeah, and it's really hard for people to really understand that. And then when you sort of come out from that dark phase, again, it's just people still don't understand it, or they look at it, and it's so being a founder and being an entrepreneur, to use that word, is a very difficult life. Yeah, it's hard, it's lonely. Even if you're successful, it can still be very lonely.
Yeah. What's the best advice you've ever been given, Rich?
Every day's a school day, and noses in, fingers out. I love that.
Noses in, fingers out.
From a founder's perspective, when you're trying to grow and create a culture that can scale, yeah, noses in, fingers out.
Meaning?
That you have the right to stick your nose in,
yeah,
but yet don't meddle, and just lay those expectations on the table there so you make sure that you're understanding, are you too far in or too far out.
Wicked. If you had to start a new business tomorrow, what kind of business would you start?
It would have to be something that still had purpose and responsible. I can't think of that at the moment because my brain probably doesn't allow it. I'm still full bore, but it would have to be something that's going to inspire me, that's meaningful, got purpose and responsible. I'm not looking to make a quick buck off other people or the environment.
Okay, last question. Has there been a moment that you've ever thought about quitting?
Absolutely. Too many to list. I think in the early days, you're like, I don't know if I've still got the juice in the tank. You kind of have to have a duvet day or a meltdown day where you just don't. You just physically toast. Then you can mentally reset, and then that'll probably happen again. But then as you're growing, you're just like, what am I doing here? Have I still got the juice in the tank? Do I still add value? All this sort of stuff here. But for me, it's always been about the team, the culture and the brand that's kept me here, like just kept me focused.
That was Last Orders. I'm with Rich Sutcliffe. Well done, brother.
Thank you, buddy.
Okay, Rich, we're having a game of darts in the founders lock-in. Right, here's the line. Oh, wash your feet. 6 darts, take it away.
No, that's what I normally play is in the pub. It's hot stone.
18.
20.
20.
1.
1. What's that?
You can do it. Go on.
39. 39. You see, I'm teaching. I hate maths. I'm telling myself I can't do it. Okay. 20. 18. 1. Well done, Rich.
39. Plus 39 plus 39.
It's pretty good. Pretty good.
78.
well done, dude. Well done. Okay. 79. 79 plus 79 plus 79 is pretty good. 78. 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 79 plus soon.